Okay, I have finally tweaked the brown bread recipe and how it was coming out so dry and crumbly. It was awful. And I think that obviously the inverted quotes poor man's Dutch oven worked quite well for Steve in America. His loaves were gorgeous, and I don't contest that. But it did not work here. I might try again later with this wet dough that I'm about to make. But I wanted to show you how it turns out if you have the right oven. For a couple of thousand years, English women have used cast iron Dutch ovens to bake the bread in, over the fire with embers on top of the lid, or Irish women over the fireplace. There would be a place to put the pot oven, even a hook over the fire with cinders on the top, but they always used a Dutch oven, and I'm going to show you how that works this time, as well as how much I had to adapt this recipe. So if you'll remember from before, we were dealing with the amount of water because my dough kept being too dry. I actually ended up with, he used 1 glass, I used 1, 2 and a half. Yeah, that's how long it took me to figure that out. Olive oil, 1 tablespoon. That's a little bit more, but that actually doesn't matter. Okay. Then our yeast, as I had said before, has to go in with the dry stuff. So I put, 3.5 cups of this wholemeal flour. My kitchen space is a bit tight, but we get there in the end. Just a little on. Wrong way, duh. Okay, so 3.5 cups of flour. One. I'm not packing the flour, but I'm just kind of making sure it's a half cup. I need 6 of these half cups. 4. 5. 6, and then a 7th one for the half. Okay, so that puts flour out of the way. Aside. And then half a cup of oats. teaspoons of salt. And the spoons go, that's where the spoons go. Okay. Is this the one? Almost made a mistake there. Wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last. 2 tablespoons of seeds. And this one you can just use something like this. So put flour, tap water, salt, instant yeast. I knew something was missing. Quarter of a teaspoon of instant yeast. There. Then I take a little whisk and I just mix all of that in completely, which I think works far better actually than just kind of stirring the handle of the spoon through the flour. But anyway, then put the flour into the bowl. And do the handle. Now, what we'll see this time is the difference in the consistency of the dough. And how much easier it is to stir. The other ones that I'm about to show you turned out quite well, but I think I will add just a little bit more oats to this one. Not too much, but just a little bit more. That's perfect. It doesn't take much to tweak it, and we get to the point where we can tell exactly what we're looking at after you've made it enough times. Okay, and then you take the spatula and scrape the bowl. And now what you'll see is the same consistency. If you've watched his video, you'll see what I mean. This is what his dough looked like. Now, when I proofed this, I've made 2 loaves today. When I proofed this overnight, it actually came up to the top of the bowl. It almost doubled, whereas the drier one was really not rising as well. This dough in the morning will have bubbles all in it, and you'll be able to see, whereas the other one didn't really. So the extra water really helped. So I'm going to put that in the other room to proof overnight. That'll be a 3rd loaf to bake tomorrow. But I want to show you the difference in the loaves. Look, this is one that's fresh out of the oven. Look how smooth and beautiful it is, and very high. And it's so much better. It really looks much more moist. You can see such a difference. If you look at my earlier video with the poor man's Dutch oven, you'll see an extraordinary difference in the two loaves. And this is part of the reason why a real Dutch oven, cast iron, not cast aluminium, cast iron. And if you can go out so that you can go in shops, you can get a good one, and the quality is so good they will literally last you for generations. This is a 26 centimeter, and I think they come in 20 centimeter, but this makes a much better loaf. It is much better at keeping the heat in and creating the steam and everything that you want, which is why we've used it for so many centuries. So I thought I'd just update that. I don't think you really need to see another video later of me bringing out the proving and putting it in the oven. Oh, and by the way, do use a lining of parchment paper. Don't just put it directly into the Dutch oven, because if you do, you'll have a very messy Dutch oven, and you don't want that. Taking care of them properly, you don't want to have to scrub them or wash them with soap or anything as often as possible. So if you put parchment paper, like I had under that loaf, in the Dutch oven and then put the loaf in, it will bake beautifully. So there's the update, and I hope you get to try this soon because it is amazing.